Hey, this is EJ Hollywood Hayes from the Darkside Rock Radio Show, and I got Joey on the phone from New Dilemma. Hey, Joey Factor, are you there, brother?
Yes, sir. How we doing today?
We are doing great, man. It's great to have you on the show finally, man. I've been trying to get in touch with you guys for a while. Finally, I got you here, man. How's things? So how the hell's things going overall right now?
Man, things are going great, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show today to talk about everything that's coming up. And New Dilemma's really busy, and we're excited. Just lots of things happening.
Well, look, I see there's a lot happened in the last year. You know, last year around this time, I believe it was June 13th, you guys released your single, Angels Are Crying. Man, that has gotten a lot of traction for you guys, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're pretty proud of that one, just given the fact that we went way more DIY style with this, and we decided to put this one out on our own and just sort of define our sound and work towards what we really were wanting to sound like. And we feel like we really sort of nailed it, and we sort of took upon that as we were going into this next EP.
That's kick-ass, man. And I tell you, I'm listening to a lot of the bands out here, especially in Florida, and I'm hearing a lot of good talent that's around the area. What gets me is I don't see a lot of representation of original music like there used to be, man. Are you guys feeling that as well?
Yeah, big time, man. You know, it's a to each his own thing for sure. And it's kind of like if you're having a good time and you're going out with your buddies and doing the cover band thing, that's a great thing. It's just, for me, it's the creativity and the originality, and that's what pulls me into it and keeps me going constantly.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, by the way. What first got you into music?
Oh man, I started, there's pictures of me going back to, man, probably 5 years old, singing and being on stage. I was just kind of I guess as they would say then, I was just a ham from day one. And so I was the guy in school. I played football, but also I was in musical theater and dance theater and regular theater within the school. And I just loved singing and performing. And it's just sort of always been there.
That's kick-ass, man. Not to cut you off, but you mentioned something about sports and theater. I played in I played football in high school, but I also was on the marching band. So at about 5 minutes till the end of the second quarter, I had to run in and dress out into my band uniform, and then come out and do the halftime show. And then halfway through third quarter, I was back in the game. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it was a good time. I mean, I took in the locker room with all the guys, and they'd be poking fun at me and stuff, and I was like, yeah, but I spend the whole period of the day dancing with the girls. So who's the fool now? I got a grade for that. Right. But at the end of the day, man, I just love performing. A small little tidbit into why we are New Dilemma. I guess this will sort of segue right to that for me. But when I was younger, I was in a band called Hybrid, and we were doing really well and about to tour with Creed on an arena tour. And my kid was born with spinal muscular atrophy type 2. And at that time, I decided to just hang it up, that it wasn't, I needed to be a dad. There was no more room for playing rock star, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Fast forward, I became a single father to her when she was about 13 years old. And fast forward, she was maybe 17 at the time. And one night she said, Dad, why don't you go show the world what you got again? You've been taking care of me, and we're doing well, and I'm healthier than I've been in a long time. So why don't you go do this again? And I actually looked at her and said, do I need to be careful with my words on here before I go on?
No, you can say whatever you want, man.
All right. So I looked at her and I said, are you fucking crazy? And I walked out of her room that night and I said, man, I'm always in this new dilemma, literally out loud outside her room. And the rest is history, man. I started writing again, and we're going on 8 years this October that we've been back at it. So
that's kick ass, man. I was going to ask you about the name, but you kind of answered that one yourself. Hey, I did have a question though. I noticed how you guys did a little bit of touring in the past, and what I wanted to do was, ask you how did you guys handle being on the road and the touring and the things that come along with being cramped up and just how was that experience for you and the guys?
Actually, we had a great time. I mean, we were out there with Cold for quite some time, and man, it was a great time. It was living a dream, and I feel like when everybody's sort of geared towards the same goals, that everybody gets along better. It's definitely probably the hardest part of the music business as far as being in the industry is that balance between life and your art and your work and all these things you're working towards. But for me and my guys, everybody's got a lot of support and a lot of love behind them. And we couldn't do it without everybody that's in the background, that's for sure.
Well, that's kick ass. I got a two-part question here. The first part is kind of just who are your influences? And then the second part of that question will be how did those influences help you shape your songwriting abilities?
Um, my number one all time for me personally is Papa Roach.
Okay,
Um,
kick ass.
and the reason being is I feel like even when my younger days, there was a similar, just lyrically in the things that we were talking about from a life perspective in our writing. Um, when I couldn't write anymore, I felt like Jacoby's writing filled a void. Um, as I got out of music. And for Papa Roach, it was like as he was growing, I was kind of growing the same path. And for whatever reason, just the majority of his writing really struck me. It hit me, and I seen him live, and he's one of the best performers, hands down. And he's been nothing but a great example of something to strive for. I wouldn't say I strive to be somebody else because we really focus on being ourselves. But my biggest inspiration by far.
That's kick ass. Now, tell me about some of the guys in the band. Are we all the original lineup, or have you changed a few since the beginning or the inception, or what?
Yeah, we changed a few. When we went on tour, two of the guys at the time it was actually just me and Clyde Clark, and we had cut a record with Ben Johnson, which he wrote and produced and helped us just tremendously, which two songs charted off of that first record, so we're very thankful for everything he did at that point. But after that, Bobby Keller went out on the road with us, and Chris, the guy who was drumming for us, and it was kind of a hired gun situation.
Yeah.
And we had been working hard because COVID shut down and things were just crazy at the time too. We were also trying to maneuver through that nightmare.
Tell me about it, man. That was horrible for all of us, man.
Yeah. But when we came back, the drummer Chris had another project. Bobby had other things going on. Clyde is now with Failure Protocol doing a new project, and they're kicking ass. So, but this group here, we've been together just over 2 years, and we have together written everything besides the first 6 songs that came out 4 or 5 years ago. So, Angels Are Crying and the stuff that's about to come out and stuff that's been going is all this band. But anyway, I'll go ahead and introduce them. Our lead guitar player, Zach Robin, just an amazing artist. I couldn't be more honored to be able to share a stage and play and write with this guy. Just phenomenal musician from the ground up. He graduated Berklee School of College with guitar, and he's done all kinds of different stuff at Full Sail in Orlando for production. So, he did a lot of homework to get where he is. And then you have our bass player, Roach. If you know Roach, you know Roach. That's what he goes by. He's been in some of the best bands around here, including when I was a kid. He was in Grumpy, selling out places like Hard Rock Live. He's always been in the scene. He's always been in the really great bands, and he is one of the most active bass players I've ever seen or worked with in my life. And then we got Sean Kimberling on the drums, and just the most dependable guy I've ever had sitting back there. You never have to worry about If you're going to be out of beat or is something going to be missed, man, he is on point. He hits hard. He knows what he's doing. He practices every day, and these guys are putting the work in, and that's what it takes.
Absolutely. That is what it takes. You find a lot of, and I don't want to offend anybody, but you find a lot of these weekend warrior garage wannabes. And, there's a difference between somebody who takes their passion and puts everything into it and invests in it to make it grow. And then there's these guys that just go out for the attention. And I watch them, they're fading away like dead fruit left and right. You know what I mean?
There's a couple things there. One I always address is, for whatever reason, when I got back into this, it was like everything was a competition. The bands are in competition. And I've always said there's enough room for everybody. No band's path is the same. Not the airplay, not the social media, not the contacts, not who's on your side or anything in between. So I never quite understood that part of it. And I'm not talking about all the bands. I just mean like, oh, they suck. Why are they doing this? We're better than them.
Right.
And I've always felt like lift up instead of push down. That may be because I'm from a little bit older generation of music and doing stuff. But at the same time, some of the best friends of my life have come out of this music scene and some of the best support. But overall, yes, there is a dwindling amount. And part of that is also venues are really sort of fizzling out as far as local places for people to cut their teeth.
Yes,
and,
I agree. That's
going to be really tough. That's going to be tough for the up and comers.
It definitely is because, I grew up, I'm 56 now, and, I was playing coming out of high school in the 80s, and, we came down here and had a great time, but, that was the MTV days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was totally different back then. It's nothing like that. And I catch a lot of hell on my radio show because, I play all types of rock and metal. I have an exclusive hour show, the Independent Power Hour, right here on Digital Revolution Radio, that I play nothing but independent artists, and I try to push the best, but I can't please everybody. I get to these.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah, I get to these points where I get hate mail sometimes. Why didn't you play us? Or that band sucks. Why didn't we make the top 10? So I ended up taking the top 10 off because I didn't want it to be such a competition out there in the beginning, and all I was trying to do was get people to interact. That was the only reason I tried to start the little voting process, was to get everybody's fans to interact. Because, if you remember back in the day, there'd be 3 or 4 or 5 bands that would be in on a show, and we would all be buddies. We would all go flyer the hell out of everywhere, and we'd go catch their shows. I don't know if you remember here in Daytona, we had the place called the Coliseum. It was a club that was kind of like Greece, Well, that place rocked, man. I played in there about a dozen times, and just those types of places, like you said, are disappearing. We're finding now these little bitty places that don't even have a stage big enough for the damn drums.
Yeah, man, it gets bad out there with some of that stuff, and all the hate alongside of it, people emailing, and being in a band, we get our share of it. But I always say, I think fans somewhere along the line forgot that this is art. Music is art, and it's a reflection of oneself, like a painting.
Absolutely.
And if you go in a store and you don't like a painting, you just don't get that painting. And you move on to the painting that you like. But it doesn't, the word hate and they suck and that shit and whatever they want to say. It doesn't matter how good you are as a band. There's always going to be a base that feels that way about you. And
right.
We just made that piece. We don't give a shit.
Well, you gotta have thin skin.
Keep talking about us, baby. Keep us in the algorithm.
Right. You gotta have thick skin in this business, but at the same time, publicity's publicity. If somebody's talking about you, it's because you're doing something that they don't like, and it's probably that you're kicking their ass.
Anybody that gets on stage in front of an audience and becomes that vulnerable, because we're vulnerable up there, and has the guts to spend the money he may not even really have to cut a song that he's super, maybe it doesn't become the best sounding thing you've ever heard, but the chances are the words that these people are putting in, the emotion, are as high as any of us. So, I have nothing but respect for all levels of this business and the music, to the weekend warriors, to the bands like us who are, trying to make it a permanent career. But at the end of the day, man, this is our art. This is reflection of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Every single song written by New Dilemma, I've been through these situations. We don't write shit just to hear it.
That was a thing that I was going to ask you about next was the songs and their meanings. If there was, something that was behind it that kind of gave you that, that staple like let's say Angels Are Crying. We'll take that one. What caused, those emotions to create that song?
So let me make sure I always have to think how I word this. So we have a family member who's been in an abusive relationship for a long time, and we've tried to help, and we've tried to pull them out of that situation, and they seem to find their way back because after being hit and abused somehow feel like that's their option. And this song is literally Angels Are Crying is my wife and my other daughters crying over a family member that we just can't seem to reach, that they love so much, so that we all love so much. So this is about kind of standing back and being a bystander when you can't really do anything. And the song is kind of aggressive, but it's like you also have to draw a line in the sand because at some point your entire family starts becoming the victim of the domestic violence because you're living in it every day and you're trying to do this, and it becomes unhealthy for more than just the people in the relationship. So Angels Are Crying is really about having you're on the outside looking in, but you also have to stand your ground. But the people that love you are crying and hurting from all this. So that's where Angels Are Crying came from.
Okay, well, my next thing is this. On your social medias, it says that you guys are from Orlando, but I thought you guys were from Melbourne.
No, we are based out of Orlando, and we're actually spread across the state of Florida. One is in two in Orlando, one in Tampa, and I'm actually on the Space Coast, right across from where they shoot all the rockets at.
Okay, right on. Now I got some kick-ass tickets for Friday, July 26th of this year, and tell me a little bit about that show because this will be my first time being at the House of Blues in over 10 years.
Oh man, this is going to be an amazing show. They brought Orlando Rocks back. Super Dave from WJRR went to bat for all of us and got this show handled. We're going to be playing with Soul Switch and also Alive and Stone and Love Child, all great bands. And Soul Switch is like, as far as around here, what a band to look up to, man. Just solid guys, great music, great performers. There's like everything about it. I mean, my first trip back to House of Blues before I was in a band, I actually saw Soul Switch and Mechanism, and then it was just such a full circle thing to be doing this. And Bobby Keller, who was in Mechanism, went on tour with us to play guitar. So it's really something to be a fan in the back and not even know these people, to fast forward 8 years, and they're great friends, and we're about to have this amazing show at the House of Blues July 26th. By the way, free tickets. All you got to do is email info@newdilemma.com. We will get you as many as you need. It is free. It is all ages. Bring the kids, bring the family, bring everybody you know. It's going to be the best night.
You guys heard that, free, and I'll get that information back out to you at the end of this interview and throughout our show. I got one more question for you to wrap this up, man. We want to talk about the new EP, Toxic, and the single that we're waiting to hear, Run and Hide, man. I can't wait to blast that out. I can't wait to hear it, man. You guys never seem to have any, when you guys put something out, man, I get so damn excited. It's like, the next day when when people send me something, I wake up, and this, by the way, this job's awesome because I get free music. I get music for fucking free,
That's awesome.
And I got probably some of the best damn playlists out there because I got bands that are working hard and want to be there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So anyway, back to the question, and this will be the final one. Let's talk about
All
the
right.
new EP Toxic and this single Run and Hide.
All right. Yes, this new EP Toxic, it comes out July 12th, 2 weeks from today, man. We are so proud of this. I mean, I just really dove into the lyrics on this one, and I went back to that like core trust your instinct type of writing, and it just really turned out well. Um, the first single, Run and Hide, it's kind of like, for me, in a weird way, like Bury My Demons Part 2 from the first EP. But this one is about, at the end of the day, there's sort of a resolve in the last chorus. But this is about running from your demons, and you're always fighting them. And the music video that goes alongside this, let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. Kill Devil Films. It's out of this world. He did the most fantastic, amazing job. But that's also going to release on the 12th along with the single. But it really tells the story, even though it's got a little bit of creepy flair to it. But man, everything resonated really good. It's all very personal relationship type stuff, and just couldn't be more excited, man. Toxic is, I do believe, the best work to date, and the progression of New Dilemma is like meant to end up with this sound, and we're just super proud.
That's kick-ass, man. I tell you what, it's been a pleasure with you right here on Digital Revolution Radio. People, you got Joey Factor, the front man of New Dilemma, right here. You want to give them that information to get those tickets for free one more time, Joey?
Yes, sir. That's all you got to do is shoot us an email, info@newdilemma.com. As many tickets as you want. It's all ages. The doors open at 7:30. Show is at 8. It's going to be a fantastic night. You cannot get a better show for free. You cannot. But yeah, just hit us up. We're actually going to be giving away a free rubber bracelet, New Dilemma bracelet. All you got to do is come show us your ticket at the merch booth, and you're going to get that for free. Get a picture, come hang out. We cannot wait to see you guys, and make sure you go check out this new music everywhere, wherever you stream music, man. We use the support, man. And at the end of this, thank you very much for having us on the show. Thank you for spinning us all the time. We appreciate the love, the fans, the requests. We couldn't do it without this stuff. So we appreciate you guys. Appreciate the fans. Thank you so much.
I'm with you on that. The fans is what it's all about, man. Without them out there, we're really just doing this for ourselves, man. And it's the love of it that keeps me in this. I do this show every week, and this is just like what you guys are doing. I have no monetary gain off of this show. This comes out of my pocket. I do this. I'm building up I was a little bit about me real quick before we end this. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I do metal music myself. I mainly play guitar and drums. But after the pandemic hit, I moved away and got down here and got back into radio. I was in radio in my 20s. I was on FM stations in Atlanta and in Colorado, in Denver. And
awesome.
So
yeah,
I did that for a while. And then after that, I went out to work with Audio Analyst. And that's a big company out of Denver. And what we do is we're the support team for the audio and lighting for pretty much any of the big concerts. So I probably did about 37 huge arena concerts where I was front of house sound or running monitor systems, so I got the chance to meet a lot of good guys out there. And for you girls listening, hey, I met a couple of girls, rock stars too. But the cool thing is these people had conversations just like you and I, because we all come from similar backgrounds. But you said
all
something,
the same, man.
You said something earlier that hit for me, and it was music on each and every different individual artist is going to be a subjective material that every listener is going to intake differently.
Yeah.
And that's the way all of it. It's all art, brother. And at the end of the day,
reflection of oneself.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, there is no bad art, man. I've never seen bad art. I've never heard bad. There's opinions, but that's all there is.
Yeah, that's New Dilemma's thing, man. We're not trying to be anybody else. We get in there, do our own thing, and we do what we're happy with. And It's just great, man. And another quick shout out. This is going out Pavement Entertainment through Sony Orchard. Thank you guys so much. And also our manager, Paul, we thank him so much. You guys might know him as the drummer from Saliva for 21 years, but he is, yeah, Paul is absolutely slaying it. Mr. Crosby is killing it for us, and we're just having a great time. And
yeah, we love Paul Crosby management. You know, they send us a lot of good music here at Digital Revolution Radio.
Yeah, man, our whole team, man, I couldn't do it without them, and it takes a small village to climb this ladder, that's for sure.
It really does, man. And I've had a great talk with you, man. I can't wait to see you guys in person live. I know you're going to be.
We'll see you soon.
We definitely will, man. So, hey, you want to tell the people who they're listening to?
Yeah, man, you guys are listening to Darkside Radio.
That's right. And I'm EJ Hollywood Hayes. We'll catch you next time on the Dark Side.